Hello, and thanks for joining me. On February 1st of this year, a YouTube user named Ruben Obed Mejor released a video in which he cursed all atheists.
And I was really thinking about it, and honestly, I mean, like I said, there's really not much more that I really want to say to atheists, but you guys ask for proof. Now, there's a saying that says, "Be careful what you wish for." So now, me, Ruben Obed, as the modern day Elijah, I'm gonna give you guys a curse. Okay? So that you know who the Lord is. So that you will stop doubting. For the next 6 months, your businesses will fail. Your clientele will dry up. For the next 6 months, your health will fail. Everything in your life will go bad. Why? Because you've tried to make a mockery of God. So from this moment on, your bank accounts will dry up. You're going to have problems in your jobs. You're going to have problems in your marriage. You're going to have problems in your health. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Now you're scared. Now you're shitting your pants.
Now, this video and his entire channel was taken down by YouTube the next day for unrelated reasons. Apparently, he was spreading medical misinformation on his channel, and YouTube at least tries to take that seriously these days. He came back shortly thereafter on a new channel with the same name, and launched into a months-long obsession with me for daring to respond to the video. He even tried to dox me by giving out what he thought was my phone number, but wasn't, and by plastering faces on his videos that he claimed are me, but are in fact 3 or 4 different guys. Which means even if one of them was me, he was harassing 2 or 3 random guys for absolutely no reason. Eventually he ran out of steam and moved on, and at present his channel is semi-inactive. Future Dave here. In the week or so since I've recorded this video, Ruben has actually come back, mostly with a series of homemade salsa remakes of old songs. I was interested by his choice of Time After Time, which is one of my favorite songs, but his execution was, well, the less said the better. Anyway, after this video, I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say about me again, but please don't expect me to engage with him. Anyway, as I said, his curse happened on February 1st. This video is going up on July 31st, which is the last day of the 6 months. Let's review the effects of the curse.
For the next 6 months, your businesses will fail.
6 months ago, I didn't have a business. I worked then and still work today for an employer which, let's just say, is in no danger of failing. But I didn't have a business of my own. Now that my channel has monetized, I do have a business. If the failure of a business means that a business exists and then it doesn't exist, then I've done the literal opposite. I'm by no means becoming rich off of it, not yet, but I'm making beer money and then some.
Your clientele will dry up.
6 months ago, I had about 1,000 subs. I think it was shortly after the curse video that I hit 1K. Today, I have over 6,700 subs. I've gone from about 25,000 views to over 400,000. To be sure, I was lucky in a few respects, but isn't the whole point of a curse supposed to be that you're suddenly and profoundly unlucky?
For the next 6 months, your health will fail.
I won't go into specifics here, but my health has definitely improved from where it was 6 months ago. Of course, it so happened that I had COVID on February 1st, and even a mild case of that can be pretty bad. But even disregarding that, my health is much better than it was 6 months ago.
So from this moment on, your bank accounts will dry up.
My bank account is superbly healthy. Well, okay, it's just healthy. During Amazon Prime Day, my wife said she couldn't find a decent mid-range television for sale on the website, and, well, I kind of took it as a challenge. Also, do you have any idea how much food is consumed by 3 guinea pigs? Especially when one of them is a tiny little ball of concentrated evil and chaos who spreads hay and pellets everywhere and then pees on it so that no one wants to eat it and then spreads it around even more and then pees on it even more so that just to keep the cage clean on a daily basis you need to invest in hazmat equipment, and then the guinea pigs see you looking like a space alien from Back to the Future and they get scared and start peeing even more and it gets even more dirty until you just want to scream, and then the screaming scares the guinea pigs even more and then they start peeing even more. Okay, that was weird. Anyway, yeah, bank accounts are fine.
You're going to have problems in your jobs.
Job's doing good, no problems there.
You're going to have problems in your marriage. You're going to have problems in your health.
Marriage is doing great. We're coming up on a major anniversary this year, and if there's anything at all that proves that the curse is bullshit, it's that Mrs. DJW continues to put up with my shenanigans. Health, as I said, is going great.
And there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it.
I'll have more of the same, please. This has been a great 6 months. It's entirely possible that some catastrophe will happen in the few hours between the posting of this video and August 1st. But if that happens, and if civilization is still intact, I'll go ahead and take this video down. Now, the El Mejor in Ruben Obed El Mejor, which I initially thought was part of his name like Ruben Obed Sr., actually means the best, or the greatest. So it's like if I called myself David John Willman the greatest, or if the reigning world chess champion called himself Magnus Carlsen den Største. Imagine if he did that. No one would ever take him seriously again. He'd be laughed out of the chess world forever. And keep in mind, he actually is the greatest. So I can't really take Ruben seriously because of that. Well, that and I'm about a foot taller than he is. I don't know why that makes a difference, but somehow it does. So I'm not just making this video to talk about Ruben or the curse. I want to talk about prayers of petition or intercessory prayer. This is the kind of prayer where you ask God to actually do something to affect the world in some tangible way. Dear God, please cure my cold. Dear God, please give me a parking space next to the store. Dear God, please make bad things happen to atheists for the next 6 months. Marcus Borg, a liberal theologian and member of the Jesus Seminar, says, I think prayers for healing sometimes have an effect, and perhaps other kinds of prayers do as well. The statistical data about the effects of prayers for healing are very interesting, even though not conclusive. To refuse to do them, referring to the prayers, because I can't imagine how prayer works, would be an act of intellectual pride. If I can't imagine how something works, then it can't work. Well, I can imagine how it works. Human asks all-powerful being to bring about a particular state of affairs, said being wills for that state of affairs to come about, and the state of affairs comes about. I can't quite imagine how the will of any being affects the material universe, except through appendages and tools, but I've read enough fantasy that the concept isn't alien to me. Nor do I have a problem with the idea that prayer doesn't always work, because after all, there's agency involved.
God, whomever you hold that to be, hears all prayers, even if sometimes the answer is no.
The problem I have is this. Why, if the agency involved is both omnipotent and benevolent, do we see prayed-for states of affairs come to pass at the same rate they would if there was no omnipotent agency involved, if it was all down to human action and random chance? Borg is wrong in saying that the statistical data about the effect of prayer is very interesting, except in the sense that it's not what we would expect if prayer worked. In that respect, it's interesting. A 10-year study in which some arterial bypass graft patients were prayed for, funded by the Templeton Foundation, revealed no difference in the rate of complications between patients who were prayed for and patients who were not prayed for. It did reveal a difference between patients who knew they were being prayed for and those who were being prayed for but weren't aware of it. Those who knew about it actually suffered more complications than those who didn't know about it. If this study, or a study like it, revealed a clear improvement between patients who were prayed for and those who were not, the Templeton Foundation would be crowing that intercessory prayer works. As matters stand, I don't hear any concession from them that prayer is possibly hazardous to your health. And of course, those who engage in intercessory prayer know better than to ask for something that could not come about either by the random workings of the natural world or by human intervention. There is no mechanism, either in nature or with existing technology, for the regrowth of an amputated human limb. You lose an arm, the arm doesn't grow back. Surely this is something that has been prayed for probably quite a lot in human history. And surely if God designed the human body, he could have given humans the natural capacity possessed by many animals for the spontaneous regrowth of limbs. That way he could answer prayers to heal amputees without it looking like a blatant violation of the laws of nature. I don't know why God would want to do that. He's supposed to desire a loving relationship with humans, and I mean beyond the relationship of a prankster and his victim, but that's how he could have done it. So, despite being a bit of a canard, the question is a valid one. Why doesn't God heal amputees? There's really no reason to believe that prayer works. Even if you assume that God exists, the only reason to believe that prayer might work is that there's a being capable of granting the prayers. You can't point to anything in the world that shows that it actually happens. I know there are many anecdotes floating around about how this or that prayer was answered, but the plural of anecdote is not data. Perhaps it's just as well that intercessory prayer doesn't work, because while there's no hope of a divine agency healing amputees or rescuing children from catastrophe at our request, there's also no danger of such an agency granting curses.
Now you're scared. Now you're shitting your pants.
I'm not saying that Ruben's theology is mainstream, and I'm sure most theologians would be totally unimpressed at his calling himself a modern-day Elijah on the basis of his internet ordination. But it would stand to reason that if God hears and sometimes answers prayer, he would sometimes do so on behalf of those who petition for harm to come to their enemies. Perhaps he would bestow the curse for a 6-month period if he found a given petition sufficiently worthy. One again has to wonder why these things don't happen, or at least why they don't happen more often than the rate predicted by the workings of random chance and purely human agency. Just as we can ask, why doesn't God heal amputees? We can also ask, why doesn't God zap atheists?
If there is a God, may he strike me dead. See, nothing happened. Oh, wait, got a little cramp in my leg.
If God exists and chooses to work in such a way that the results of his actions are indistinguishable from the results of natural causes, then we can't disprove this hypothesis. But it's important to realize that this is what the hypothesis comes down to, and to understand that this is probably not by accident. With the advent of the scientific method, data analysis, all the ways of understanding the universe which we've discovered in the last few centuries, theologians have had no choice but to retreat behind a protective shell of unfalsifiability. And those Christians who are sympathetic with the aims of the 6-month curse, but who learn that this atheist at least has had good fortune over the last 6 months, may well console themselves with the idea that I've become somehow, spiritually diseased over the last 6 months. So hey, the curse came true after all. Never mind the fact that it is explicitly not what Ruben was talking about.
Your businesses will fail. Your health will fail. Your bank accounts will dry up.
Theologians and apologists are nothing if not experts at retconning. They have no trouble retconning the entirety of human history as divine providence. So why would it pose a challenge to retcon the sudden opening of a parking space in front of the supermarket as such? Anyway, happy 6-month anniversary of the curse. If you enjoyed this video and want to help my channel grow, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Be sure to hit the bell to be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to share how the last 6 months have gone for you, leave a comment below. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm David John Wellman, and the rest is...